Nadar Show. Today we have a guest. She's from an academician. She pivoted to a highly paid corporate professional from where she again pivoted to be an entrepreneur. She's a mom of two, a loving wife, a dependable daughter-in-law, a caring daughter, and an adorable sibling to three more. She loves intellectual discussions and refrains from wasting time. The three asset she's very proud of are her time, her focus, and her determination. She is an entrepreneur having a mark in coaching and consulting domain. She is a lioness by attitude and finds her success in her students' success. And she believes she's a mentor by heart. So warm welcome to our guest speaker today, Sanghamitra Sabat, business scalability coach. Warm welcome to you, Sanghamitra.
Hi, Ravi, and thank you so much. Thank you so much to have got me here, to have given this opportunity. I'm so glad to come to the Ravi Nadar Show.
Thank you so much, Sanghamitra. So help us understand your journey from who you were in a corporate to the entrepreneur journey. How did this happen?
Yeah, so this is a very interesting journey. And I pivoted from an academician in the year 2006 to join my corporate career. Actually, I did my MBA in 2006. 2008, I joined ICICI Group, and then 2011, the Tatas. So in this almost like a decade, 12 years of my corporate life, I had pivoted from the HR domain to the projects, to the technicalities, and finally to the finance domain. So when I was doing so much for the organization, my last stint with the Tatas was collection. And I was a director collection in one of the Tata companies, wherein one of my biggest target was not to get write-off of the 8 crore debt which we had. So I deployed an agency. We had our strategy sessions. I deployed an agency. We had our own team. But you won't believe that within 1.5, 2 years, out of the 8 crores, we could actually recover around 6 crores of money from the market. So that gave me a confidence, Ravi, that there is so much more which I have to give back to the society, and I should not trade my time. Rather, I should play on my potential and break one myth of my family. And that myth was, anywhere, in any parties, in any reception or any get-together we used to go, people will talk like that. Business is never our DNA. हमारे घर में तो कोई business कर ही नहीं पाएगा. So they will always have this discussion, which was hurting me somewhere, definitely. Probably that was there in my subconscious mind, which pushed me towards entrepreneurship, when I could see my potential coming up into different domains. And that is how I landed up into the entrepreneurship, but the game was very different. So we have more to say there.
Maybe that was the reason, like when you heard, or maybe the family always keep on talking that the business is not something for maybe for your family, or maybe especially you as a woman, it is not for you, or maybe if I have to say, it's not your cup of tea kind of a thing.
Yes, very much. So
Okay,
it's more like people are so happy to be in the service domain, but somewhere I felt that we have to break this myth in the family and give the chance to the next generation to think beyond, to think big, so that they can evolve another generation.
Yeah. So Sanghamitra, what was your biggest turning point like in your life, which actually shaped you completely from who you were to who you are? Like the biggest turning point, like if I have to ask, definitely there would be a lot of turning point, but one of the biggest turning point which actually it made you a completely different person. When I have to say different person, that means the real version of a Sanghamitra Sabat. What would that be?
I think the illusion which I was living with, Ravi, when I left my corporate world and entered into entrepreneurship, I really thought that entrepreneurship would be a very easy game. But then it was more like I was flying high in the sky and I'm being dropped to land on the road. So the reality of entrepreneurship really shaped me to what I am today, because when I was into the academics or into the corporate world, we put in only our potential, but the environment, the system, the process, the people, everything is actually ready for us. But here in entrepreneurship, when you come into entrepreneurship from these big designations like director, and regional managers. When you come from these designation, you feel that you have a lot of potential, but the reality of entrepreneurship is very different. You are the peon and as well as the CEO of your own company. That reality check it went too hard on me. Probably that took some time, but this ice breaking of the reality of entrepreneurship is the contributor to what I am today. Ravi, I have seen 2 lakhs in my bank per month to 0 in a month for 3 years. I think I learned the hard reality of my life by coming to entrepreneurship. And that is why today I understand that we have a lot of potential, but then we also need to beat it with a lot of system and process and people to be a successful entrepreneur.
So thanks for sharing that. Like, you were going through that tough time, like from having a lakhs into your bank account to like the zero balance account. Now, the decision which actually you made, like, for example, like the decision being a woman, okay, as a daughter, also like, as a wife and taking care of a child, everything, and especially for women, the decision which you have taken, like, what made you to think that to make that particular bold decision from high paying corporate job to start your own journey as an entrepreneur? And during that decision, when you made that, like, this is enough means enough, I'm going to do it. And when you made that particular decision, was that an easy decision? Because I don't think so that was an easy decision, because you have to take care one side of your family and everything, and the other end, like your corporate job, which was actually paying you well, and then starting the journey. So what was going like around with you? Like what was happening around that time?
Yeah, it was definitely not easy, Ravi. But then when I was really thinking through, why should I get into entrepreneurship? So there was this line which was always hinting me, which I said earlier, that business to हमारे घर में कोई कर ही नहीं सकता. We don't have business in our blood. This is such a big, ridiculous statement for any family. And it's not only diminishing the potential of the current generation, but such type of myth is actually turning into a limiting belief of every member in the family, for which I realized very soon in my life that even my kids, the next generation, is going to believe on the same, and they will also have a life which is very mediocre. I will not say that I come from a very lower middle class family. I was well to do actually, but we did compromise on lot of luxury experiences which we could have done. Lot of experiences which we compromised only because we were four in the family. We had a big family, and whatever was the earning was enough to take care of the health, food, education, and a little bit of entertainment. But I realized that that's not life only. There is so much more to life. And hence I thought that at least I should be the flag bearer in this family to break the limiting belief that business can be done by anybody, only if we understand how to do the business. And hence I thought, I mean, this stigma was really bothering me a lot. And because of this stigma, I thought, let me take the first bold action of leaving my corporate job and setting up a system, even if I'm not very, very successful. But then at least the next generation will know that there was somebody in the family who ever tried to do a business and could reach to a certain level. This itself is going to break the limiting belief of the whole family. And the next generation, I'm sure, will be highly skillful to take the business to the next level.
Absolutely. Now, because again, I wanted to point out this is, as a woman, especially country like in India, okay, women, a huge respect to women, Sanghamitra, because the kind of a work they are doing, and they are managing so many things when it comes to family and then business, or maybe like, working in a corporate, wonderful. But as a woman, like if you have to take that bold decision, right? I know that is not easy, because maybe the myths, the beliefs that might be stopping you. So what was that beliefs, which is because overall as a family, maybe first, maybe that is a judgment, or maybe what people will tell, those kind of a pressure, social pressure is already there. But again, what if I start the business and if I could not get that success? So what would you like to say, like, what, when you were going through that particular time, there was a pressure in you, like, ऐसा होगा तो क्या होगा, ऐसा होगा तो क्या होगा, but what was that stopping you or making you to, like, that fuel which was burning inside? No, kuch bhi hono do, like, I will be doing, what would that be?
Yeah, this comes from my entrepreneurship days, Ravi, when I was really working very hard to settle the business, trying to make digital products. Because since we are into service, our product is all digital.
Correct.
So whenever, and it really demands a lot of time and focus and determination of yours to even create anything, maybe a small brochure to some training programs, to some product, whatever you service, you extend your service. So in my whole entrepreneurship journey, I really invested a lot of time in doing the fundamentals of the business. And there comes my family, especially my husband. He will come and say that, how long will you work in this business? And I don't see, maybe you're investing so much of time into the business, but where is the money in the bank? So I started hearing it, listening to it, adjusting to it initially. But then you actually break off at a certain point in time.
Correct.
The day he comes and tells me that you could have reached to around 50, 70 lakhs by now, but you are not even earning a few thousands. Those are like my initial 2-3 years of my business. I think those comment and those criticism were my fuel to make me burn from inside and tell that whatever be it has to be done. I cannot have a failure in the business. I have to move forward and prove that we can do the business. And luckily, this fire has always kept me going. And this is the reason. I think there are some criticism which you require in your life because that pushes you hard. And for me, that was coming from my husband. My elder one is also like 13 years. Because now he's grown up, he will also come back and say that, Mama, you're not spending any time with us and not teaching us. We want you to teach us. One, I have forgotten all the studies. Second, it's a dual effort for me to learn and to teach. So I was of the mindset that I'll put him into a good tutor who will help him. But I never realized that child actually have a different emotion with their mom. So whether you are able to manage their studies or not, but sitting with them and just discussing itself is a breather for them. That I neglected, Ravi, and I didn't understand, but I really understood it the day my elder son was looking outside from the window and crying on one particular day. And then he says that I don't need Sanghamitra, but I really need Leena. And Leena is my nickname. So when I went back to ask him that Leena and Sanghamitra both are the same, so what is the difference? And he very bluntly, this 12-year boy, he says that Leena is my mom. She sits with me. She understands me. She cooks for me. She teaches me. But Sanghamitra is a businesswoman who is on her mission to impact the whole world. I think that statement is also a game changer for me, where I realized that for a mom and you being into entrepreneurship, we cannot neglect any of our responsibilities. And that's the toughest part of any woman who is into the entrepreneurship. But I think these critics have actually took me ahead. They pushed me ahead and gave me the courage that I have to be more productive, I have to be a better time manager, and I have to be a better entrepreneur.
I can clearly see that, because for men, again, like men and women, because there is a two different role when it comes to for men and for when it comes to the woman. Because being woman and then to as an entrepreneur, there is lot of responsibility. I would say 2 times more than responsibilities towards them. But that is something like you made in within your end, that this is something I need to make it happen, and I need to prove it, especially like for my family, or maybe the people who are saying the naysayers. Okay, now what do you think, Sanghamitra, like, because you have seen from the lowest to the highest and everything when it comes to the business, because as you shared, like you started from zero and you started learning the fundamentals and each and everything. Now what do you think, like what are the top 5 to 7 myths which people should be aware before they start their entrepreneur journey? maybe as an aspiring entrepreneur, or maybe someone who wants to become an entrepreneur in future, maybe after 3 to 5 years, but now they're working as a working professionals. So what do you think that myth is?
Yeah, I think this is one of the best questions of yours, Ravi, coming to me, because this is the ground reality which will help somebody win the race. So the five myth, in my opinion, every aspiring entrepreneur should be aware of are like, number one, business can be done by anybody. So if there is a myth which people are saying that you cannot do a business, do not believe on it. You need to believe in your own potential and the whole structure, your dream, and you can actually achieve it. That's number one. That business cannot be done by everybody. That's not the truth. The truth is it can be done by everybody, anybody, provided we know what is the real process, understand, and we are clear. We have some business clarity. The second myth is business needs a lot of money to start. It is not true, because I started my whole business with only 1 lakh paid up capital. Though my authorized capital was more, I mean, when we start the company, but I just put in 1 lakh. From 1 lakh today, I'm about to touch a few, I mean, very close to I'm running for 1 crore. So if anybody puts in 1 lakh and you can really turn it to 1 crore, I think anybody can do it. You don't require big financing, and I'm completely bootstrapped, not sold off any stake of my company, completely bootstrapped. But then we need to know how much to take for yourself as a personal income and how much to put it back to the business to grow the business. That clarity should be there. And that is only if you know that much, you can break the myth, which is you need a lot of finances to grow the business. The third myth for business is that we are the boss and we'll have everybody do it. It doesn't happen like that in entrepreneurship at all. You have to be responsible and you have to have the in-depth understanding of each and everything in your business, starting from the little Excels to the invoices, to the money which you have to bank from the customers, to whatever is your debt, to the credit, to the balance sheet, to the profit and loss statement. Even if you don't know marketing, you have to learn marketing. You have to do marketing. If you don't know finance, you have to actually learn and do finance. So in entrepreneurship, you actually have to learn each and every part of your business, and you cannot rely without understanding. You have to understand and then take up a team who can support you. So that's the third myth, that we are the boss and people will do and we will enjoy. It doesn't happen like that in entrepreneurship. You have to do for yourself. So that's your third myth. The fourth myth is we can make a lot of money in business. This is not true if you are not following the basic fundamentals of business. If you have a process of only earning for yourself, then your business very soon will dry out, because you need to understand the real proportion of how much money you should be putting back to the business, and the mentality of business should never be to earn for yourself. Business is actually a vehicle to help solve a bigger problem in the society. Only if we understand the concept of business, I think we will really relish our life as entrepreneurs. But then a lot of entrepreneurs I have met, they start with this motive that I want to become rich, and that is why I want to start a business. But that's a myth. You don't become rich by doing a business. You become rich by doing the business correctly. So that is the fourth one which I would like to portray here. And the last myth for entrepreneurship is very difficult. It's not difficult. It's just that in the corporate, we have a specific role and we go in depth to that particular specific role. But in entrepreneurship, we have multiple roles. And when we are jumping from the corporate to the entrepreneurship, not many people actually are prepared to handle entrepreneurship. Even I was not prepared to handle entrepreneurship. I never knew what is the preparation. But then if people say that it's very difficult to do a business, that's a myth. People today, from a lot of social media posts, I have been learning that today reaching the crores, the age of reaching the crores is diminishing by a decade, 50s to 40s to 30s and now 20s. So it's not difficult. I think if people take care of these 5 myths, it's good to go.
Well, that was mind blowing. Because it is not that easy when it comes to the journey of an entrepreneur, and especially one of the myth, like people just come and want to get into the entrepreneur journey just by thinking in their mind that they want to earn money, but they don't know like the real thing, like what all things you need to do. And the toughest part is like first they have to manage a lot of things. It's not maybe in the job it was good, like they have to do one set of things. And also I can clearly see like so many people, if they don't love their job working maybe 9 to 5, okay, I think like they start telling it, it's better that I will go ahead and do the business. Though they are not disciplined in their work 9 to 5, they are not that much, they are very very below average, and they think that if they are able to go out and they will be able to do a lot of business. But they fail to understand, if you're not disciplined in with like in the 9 to 5 business, how you will be able to discipline. Do you think like discipline is something which is also very very necessary when it comes to doing the business?
Yeah. See, look at the alphabet. E comes only after D.
Yeah.
You cannot become an entrepreneur if you're not disciplined at all.
So that was the thing, because people say like I have to work a lot, like maybe 10 hours or maybe 12 hours in a job. It's better that I will go ahead and start my own journey. But they fail to understand that if you are going for the entrepreneur, you don't have to work for 10 or 12. Maybe it will go to 14 to 15.
It is 24 hours. Entrepreneurship is a 24 hours job.
Yes.
Okay. And corporate is a 10 to 12 hours job, but entrepreneurship is a 24 hours job.
Yeah. So now over here, like Sanghamitra, like for especially aspiring entrepreneurs, if somebody is having just thinking about like to do business, but they don't have any clarity at all, what business, how, and anything, but they just have that something I need to do when it comes to like I want to get into this business and entrepreneurs journey. So what would you like to tell, like how can one start their own entrepreneur journey? What all things, maybe as a checklist, what they need to think of, or maybe look at, or maybe aware, or maybe they need to learn before they need to get into the entrepreneur journey? What would that be?
Okay, that's a very, very interesting and a very valid question, Ravi, for all the entrepreneurs who might be watching this show. So I call this entrepreneurship framework as Empire Framework. So I learn entrepreneurship and I want to teach entrepreneurship through this Empire Framework. See, what does E stand for? E stands for envision. So business clarity is a must. That means that before even starting the business, we need to be clear about why, the purpose behind the business. What problem are we solving? What is the vision? What is the mission? What values are there inside us? And what values can we take to our business? All these are, like you said, business clarity. So first, people definitely need to have the clarity. And that is the reason why I say that you have to get prepared with E. E is your envisioning the future, imagining the future. Now coming to the second, M. M in Empire Network, the second letter stands for M, where before even you get into entrepreneurship, you should be knowing what is the service model, or what is your way of solving the problem. Whether you want to get into a product or you want to get into a service. If in case you're coming to service business, most of the people, I mean, because in India, like almost like 55% of our GDP is contributed through the service economy. So when you're coming to the service business, we need to be very clear about how do you want to serve? Do you want to do some consulting projects, or you want to coach somebody, or you want to be a creative person and sell your creativity, or you want to collaborate with somebody and get into an affiliate? So a lot of these models are available in the market. People should do a little bit of research of different type of models, business models, and be very clear which model they are very comfortable with. One is comfort, second is which will also give you a lot of revenue. So we need to equate it. We need to understand the skill and what they can learn to make it better. So that is the second point. The step number one is envision your future. Step number two is choose your service model. Now coming to number three, which is P, product. So your product also has to be, you need to be very clear about the product. Maybe your product is not ready in the market, but at least your idea, your thought process of what product will it be, that should be envisioned properly. Now coming to the step number 4, which is I. You cannot run a business without any influence. So you have to be very, very good at social media marketing, going out and meeting people in the offline world. And before anybody comes into entrepreneurship, they need to know that influence building is one of the very important aspect of entrepreneurship. If you are an introvert, you don't like to go to people, you don't like to talk to people, nobody will be able to sell your business better than you. That is something which we all entrepreneurs will learn in our whole journey of entrepreneurship. So whether you are good at selling, not good at selling, whether you are good at marketing, not good at marketing, that's all irrelevant. You now have to learn it anyhow. So that's about I, which is influence. You have to impact through your influence. Now the next step number 5 is revenue. So you have to learn the selling skills. Now, a lot of people, they come from the service industry, from the product manufacturing industry, and they start their own business. Where they majorly struggle is to prepare a good product, to go to the market and really spread their product or service, to sell, to make an offer, and to tell people and ask for money. These are the areas where the entrepreneurs really suffer. So when we are getting into entrepreneurship, if we understand this framework, it's very easy for us to rewire our brain accordingly. And the last is E in the Empire framework. Once you have envisioned your future starting with E, you have chosen your model, which is M. You have ideated your product, which is P. You know how to build your influence, which is I. You know how to generate revenue, which is R. The last one is your part, which is experience the euphoria. You will have a lot of luxurious experiences to be done. You will enjoy your life, and you also need to know how to enjoy the life. So I would suggest to all the entrepreneurs, whether you are currently into entrepreneurship or you are an aspiring entrepreneurs, they need to understand this Empire framework very well. Once they know the Empire framework, first change is they will turn the small business and start building their own empire. And that's my advice to anybody who's into entrepreneurship.
That's just wonderful. Like empire, EMPIRE. That itself is a wonderful framework, I would say, because you cannot just get into entrepreneur journey just by thinking, okay, I wanted to do or maybe start the business. That's it, and rest I will figure it out. No, you have to figure it out first, and then
Yes.
you have to go, because there is a lot of surprises, or maybe the challenges, the obstacles, different types of, and like how you shared your own story. Okay, so a lot of things will be happening during that particular journey, and you need to enjoy that process. It's not that easy, but at the same time it's not that tough as well, that nobody can do it, only certain people, only they are made for business. No, if you want to do, you can also get started it. So this is a lovely framework, I would say, Sanghamitra, like especially who wants to get into this, they can just go through like EMPIRE, and they can just check it, like which one here they need to work upon, or maybe like without going through anything and directly getting into the journey. So don't
Yes.
do that. So uh, so when it comes to the journey of this entrepreneur journey, right? So what you have to say, especially to those people, okay, those who say that I have a lot of ideas with me, I want to do this business, I want to do this business because I have a lot of good ideas, and I don't want to share these ideas to anybody else, especially like other entrepreneurs, maybe like if they copy it, and they stuck in that particular syndrome for maybe years and years, and they wait for that right time. When the right time comes, then only I will go ahead and share that particular idea. Maybe have you experienced this kind of a people, or maybe if that is the case, what would you like to say to these kind of a people who think that I have a very good idea, and if I start doing this, that I will be in the top? What would you like to say?
Yeah, Ravi. Of course, I have met a lot of people like this, a lot of people. Okay. And I always believe that there are two stages, there are two world of entrepreneurship. One is the world of euphoria. It's a world of everybody wants to experience the euphoria, but then one is the world of illusion. The illusion is like in your mindset, you have the entire business created, you have validated your product in your mind, you have also sold your product in the mind, and you have also imagined how much you have earned in the mind, but it's all in the mind. The second one is not an illusion, but it's a reality check. There are very less people who fall down from the illusion sphere to the reality sphere, because the difference, the distance between the illusion sphere and the reality sphere is a process called conformity. The more you stand to conform everything, the more you will always stay in the illusion mind. Rather, instead of checking with anybody, and if you have a lot of ideas, it is wise to come to the reality sphere, go to the market, test the market with one idea, look into the feasibility. Reality check can be done from the target audiences, and you get a POC, a proof of concept of your first idea. If in case your first idea really works, you scale it up. If that does not work, pivot it to your second idea. And that is what people do in the reality sphere. But there are a lot of people who feel very happy by staying in the illusion sphere, because it also gives you dopamine. You think nice, you think you're doing so much, you are so intelligent, you have so much of ideas, that itself feeds you dopamine. But then the reality sphere, it feeds you pain. But then the initial dopamine will not take you to a successful entrepreneurship. It is the pain followed by the gain which will actually take you to the successful entrepreneurship. So my suggestion to everybody is, if you have a lot of ideas, do not keep your idea in your mind. It's time for you to do the feasibility testing in the market. Go to the market, test it, and get some proof of concept. Let people pay you your initial pilot projects. And then you have the right choice to either scale up or to pivot.
Absolutely. And also, I can clearly see that there are a lot of people, they are very good when it comes to ideas. And the same thing like which we are talking right now, they are very good coming with a lot of ideas, but poor execution. They never execute that particular ideas. And they think that, no, that is something which is good and I can do a lot of business. And this is what I learned from one of my mentor, Joe Vitale, that like, have you ever seen like Sanghamitra, like there are a lot of ideas, or maybe you have one of the ideas that I want to do, start this business, or I want to do this thing to my business or anything. And suddenly you see somebody else has already executed that particular thing. Have you came across?
Yeah, yes, I have come across.
Yeah. So similarly, like the ideas, when it comes to somebody's mind, it's not only that person who gets that particular idea. And the day
Yes.
when I understood, I thought, oh my God, that is something which is, it was out of the box. Like I was like, okay, this is what happens. So any ideas comes to anybody's mind, it's not only that one person get that particular idea. Instead of that, set of number of people, they get that particular idea, and the one who executes, he wins.
True, very true. And you have just rightly nailed it, Ravi. That's the truth.
So
because business requires speed and speed of
exactly.
implementation.
Yeah, because unless and until you never execute it, and what you see is you continuously start seeing, hey, this was my also idea, and that has got executed by somebody else. Again,
True.
this, and end of the day, like you will be having a big regret in your deathbed that you never executed a single thing.
Correct. Very true. Very true.
Okay. So, Sanghamitra, when it comes to the scalability, what do you think? Like, why a lot of especially people who have started their entrepreneur journey, or maybe they're into that like 2-3 years or maybe 5 years of journey, why do you think they are failing to scale, or they are in that particular situation where they are thinking that they have made a bad decision to getting into this particular entrepreneur journey? And how can they, somebody who wants to scale or they're not able to do it, how can one can shift or maybe improve some or the other thing, which definitely you're the best person who can give that particular idea, what they can do so that they can scale their business, or maybe like if that is not the right, what else they can start doing it?
Yeah, Ravi, normally what happens is, as an entrepreneur, most of the entrepreneurs, including me at one point in time, we are scared of two things in entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
The first scare of entrepreneurship is to invest money, to spend money before even you are earning it. So your revenue has not started coming in, but then you are bound to spend and invest to grow your business. So that is one of the showstopper. That is one of the roadblock for an entrepreneur, because the entrepreneur mindset, when you get into the entrepreneurship, if you have not matured your mindset, you will always want the revenue to come first and then to spend. But it actually works opposite. You need to spend to earn more revenue. So that is a vicious cycle which entrepreneurs really get trapped, and that is one of the primary reason for slowing down the business, and people cannot scale up. Number one. Number two, lot of entrepreneurs, they want to be good at everything in the business, because of which they lose out trust on delegating lot of work to other people. Because if you delegate, there are two problems. You have to pay them, you have to follow up with them to get your work done. And a lot of entrepreneurs, they're not trained on how to delegate it effectively and how to get the real work done, because they do not understand the process of getting the work back. So once they have delegated, they don't get the work as per they have thought in the mind. So these are the two very, very big roadblocks I have come across with a lot of people I have met in the entrepreneurship journey. And these are the two things which really stop them from scaling up the business. One is the vicious cycle of first expense or first revenue. And second, who to delegate, what to delegate, how to recover the work. If they learn these two things, I think everything can be taken care of very well.
Yeah, I can remember, like, when it comes to the delegation, okay, they have to spend money, because for paying that person, if they have to delegate it to somebody when it comes to the business. Or the second thing also I have seen, what would you like to say about this particular thing, is someone who think that if I delegate, I will not get that perfect result, or maybe that perfect outcome, which I am the person, if I have to do, I will be able to deliver that particular thing. So
Very,
how can one manage that particular thing?
yeah, very true, very true. And we all go through the same, Ravi, because we want to get things perfect. In the whole realm of perfection, we stop on the progression. We do not even progress, because we are working at the back end to make it perfect. And if you delegate to somebody and that person's work doesn't match up to your expectation, then you any which way stop believing on delegation, and you get into the trap of doing everything on your own, which is the biggest trap for an entrepreneur. Though we learn it very late, few people, they learn it in very hard way. But entrepreneurship is not about perfection, because perfection is a very relative term. What is perfect for me may not be perfect for you. What is perfect for you may not be perfect for somebody else. So rather, we all should move out as entrepreneurs from the mindset of perfection to the mindset of continuous progression.
Very well said. Like, instead of that perfect thing, or like not meeting the client's requirement with that perfect thing and all, you have to look for something which is progression, like whether we have progressed or in that particular thing by yesterday, or maybe that 1%, 2%, or 5%, whatever it is. That is something that is what we need to do. Now, when it comes to business, I know when it comes to starting the journey as an entrepreneur, then getting into the entrepreneurship, compared to just as an employee, like corporate employee, there is something which is like many of them, they fail to manage, which is called as the time. And I see that one of, like, you are the best person, because as a woman, you have to take care of your family, a lot of other responsibility, but still you are able to manage the time very well. How do you do that? Could you share us, like, some tips, so that all the aspiring entrepreneurs or whoever stuck in this particular thing, they can go ahead and, like, they can learn it and they can just implement it? How do you do it?
Yeah, Ravi, though even I'm also learning how to make the time management better, but at least, yes, I have been able to cope up to a lot of responsibilities of mine. And this comes from two people. So one is way back in 2017-18, I got exposed to Isha Foundation, Sadhguru. And
Okay.
while doing my inner engineering program, there was one statement which Sadhguru said. And that statement was, everything is your responsibility. So that statement actually got into my mind, and I realized that I have so many different type of responsibilities as a mom, as a wife, as an entrepreneur, as a student. I'm learning from so many mentors. So there are so many responsibilities. So that is something which I imbibed into my characteristic. And the second thing is, I have really come across good time management people where I learned and I also implemented in my life. 4 things I will tell which I implement in my life, which probably could help somebody. Number one is the myth that I'm not a good time manager. It's actually 24 hours for everybody, and we cannot manage time. The only thing we can manage is manage ourselves. If we learn to manage ourselves, we will automatically manage a lot of work to be done within a stipulated time. Now the question is, how do you manage yourself? So there are 3 things which I practice. Number one is, whatever I have to do the next day, at least I have a visibility of my next day in a note copy, in my journal, in my personal diary, every day evening. By every day, today evening, I will sit and jot down what all work do I have to do tomorrow. So that is very clear. And then while going to sleep, I'll again go through that journal to just recapitulate. Have I captured everything, or I have left out everything? And also you need to check with all of your family members. Is there anybody who is requiring your support the next day? And if it is planned, it actually becomes very helpful to you. So that's number one, which is time journal. Number 2 is time blocking. So I believe in the methodology that block some time and do your most difficult work of the day during that time. So I have time blocked for almost every work of mine. Even if I have to do a personal work, I have a time blocked for that. So this helps me balance my personal life and my professional life, my personal responsibilities and my responsibilities as a homemaker. So time blocking is a very, very, very helpful methodology for me. So one is time journal, the second one is time blocking. And the third one is time chunks, tasks. So in a particular time, whatever tasks are complementary to each other, you start doing those tasks together. So for example, gymming and learning on the audio goes complementary. You don't have to put your brain to do both the tasks at separate time. So there are a lot of such type of work where we can actually have complementary tasks together. If I have to learn something and also I have to implement it, so I can learn from the mentor and parallelly also implement it. So it's wise to spend some time to think of the complementary tasks in our life. If you follow these 3 things, which is number 1, the time journal, where you note down your next day activity. Number two is time blocking. Time blocking means you are completely out of focus. You do not even pick up anybody's call during that time. But to be on a safe side, before even you are blocking your time, you go back and call your important people and tell them that I'm not available for the next 2 hours. Is there anything important, or you want to convey something to me? So that check really helps. And number 3 is task chunking, or you can say it as complementary task during a particular time. So find your complementary task and do 2 tasks together. So I think if you do like this, it becomes very easy to manage your time.
Wow, very, very creative. Could you help us with some more example when it comes to the complementary? One is like doing gymming and at the same time learning from the audiobooks. Okay, what all more examples if people are stuck in that, what they can do with the
complementary? Okay, so I'll give you one more example which is coming from my real life. So I am a person who's very, very finicky about clutter. I don't like clutter at all. I feel less is more for me. So one of my regular tasks at home is like cleaning the wardrobe and setting up the wardrobe, which either I do it or I get it done by somebody. But then what is a complementary task to it is when I'm learning from a mentor and I don't have to be visible on a video. So you play the sessions and then you sit and fold your clothes, sit and organize your office papers, sit and organize lot of your storage spaces. So these are like complementary tasks. You can actually learn and also do these things, and you don't have to put your brain to organize everything. So this I do a lot because I feel like decluttering my spaces every now and then. So this is one thing which I really use a lot. Second, a lot of people they use driving and learning to the audio sets. So that's another complementary task. The third one could be walking with your kids and having some emotional discussion, some very close discussion with your kids. So you don't have to sit and talk with them on a sofa, on a couch. You can actually take him for a walk. You are also doing your exercise. The person is also sharing all his school deeds, your homework and everything. And then you plan it out, you organize it. Or if you have to convey some information, you have to convey some lessons, you can do that while doing your exercise. So likewise, people have to sit through and find what are complementary tasks which are suitable for them. These are a couple of tasks which I do, I practice it, and then I feel that I am able to manage to a larger extent, but I still believe I have to do more.
Great, great. Thanks for sharing that powerful method, Sanghamitra. And also, like, especially the journey when it comes to entrepreneurs, we cannot achieve and we cannot do or we cannot impact a big mission or whatever the mission we are working for without some sacrifices. Would you like to tell about the sacrifices when somebody has to start their journey as an entrepreneur? Do you think is there a sacrifices involved or no? The moment I start my journey, everything is wonderful without sacrifices. What would you like to tell when it comes to sacrifices? How can someone be ready to start this particular journey? They should know about this particular thing.
Yeah, Ravi, I think you are right on track in your questions of asking me the right questions. So, see, I must tell that initial years of entrepreneurship are not rosy days. These are actually your thorn days, the days where you have to walk on the thorns. And in terms of sacrifice, people have to be ready to sacrifice sleep, sacrifice very important task of life, which could be not so very important task of life, but those are your enjoyment. You may have to sacrifice on your style, your lifestyle. You may have to sacrifice on the feelings that I was earning so much and now I don't have any. So all these are some type of sacrifices. You might have to sacrifice on being together with somebody or not being able to spend a lot of time with your close ones, even if you're staying together. So the sacrifice in entrepreneurship when you start will come in terms of money, in terms of time, in terms of not giving importance to a lot of people, relationship. These are a couple of big sacrifices. It doesn't look to be big, but then these are actually big because when you do this, people will come and first ask you, what are you up to? Why are you not being with us? And people who have not walked this journey, they will never understand why you are doing it. So you have to have ears with very heavy filters. I call it filter eardrums, where you get some info, but then you filter it out and don't take it inside. You just throw it away. So your ripple effect should be really, really good when you are starting, because you need to know that it's not an easy journey when you are starting your day, because you don't have a system, you don't have process, you don't have people, you don't have vehicle. Lot of things require your time, your focus, your integration, your to build things. So initial days of your entrepreneurship, be ready to sacrifice on your sleep, sacrifice on your time, on your relationship, on your events, entertainment, lifestyle. But remember one thing, that you are sacrificing all these things to achieve a bigger version of everything you have sacrificed. Once the entrepreneurship really becomes successful, you have more time freedom, you have better relationship, you sleep more and you still make money while sleeping, and you still enjoy better vacations, travel on cruise, travel around the world, because now you have money which can feed into your dreams. So know that you have to walk on the thorn to get that rose, but it's a long journey and be ready for it.
Absolutely, like because I was listening to one of the motivational from Shah Rukh Khan, right? People love to see the celebrities, the lives, the kind of a lifestyle they are living, the vacations, the cars they are driving, and everything. But they don't know like what they do behind the scene and the kind of a life they are living. Like Shah Rukh Khan, I was listening to him, so he was saying that. Just because of his work, like he has to shoot for that as a commitment, as his work, he sometimes also miss his son's birthday. Are you, like, for the audience, like, are you ready to sacrifice that particular thing? Because this is just one part which I'm discussing, like just a birthday, but there would be a lot of things which you have to miss. Lot of things, like that kind of a sacrifice one has to do when it comes to the journey of an entrepreneurship. And people will doubt at you, people will mock you, people will talk behind about you, like he's not maybe giving that particular importance and everything. But when I heard that particular thing from Shah Rukh Khan, I said, yeah, that is why, like, why he is where he is, because he worked a lot when it comes to for building his business or building that particular personal brand. So, Sanghamitra, like this question, which I'm going to ask you, definitely this is a very powerful question, and especially people who are in India. I would love, like, because especially a woman like you, I want an answer from you, because nobody, it's you who can give a better answer for this. Especially like women, okay? They have a lot of ideas. They want to do a lot of things, but they are not able to do that particular things. What would you like to say to that particular woman? And maybe that there would be a lot of reason, different reason. Maybe their family is stopping, or maybe their husband is not supporting, or maybe they have that fear of that rejection, failure, or maybe they don't have that particular money. It can be anything. So as a generic, what would you like to say to that woman, like who don't love to work in a job, but they want to get into an entrepreneurship, but they don't have that courage within them because of log kya sochenge, the judgment, or it can be anything. Or maybe they think that as a woman it's not that easy. What would you like to tell to, especially to those women who are very powerful women, but they have not unlocked their real potential?
I think I must say that they should come to me first, because all the women, including me, we have gone through this, and everybody will have a story around it. But I want to say to all the powerful women, if in case you're watching this and you really want to get into entrepreneurship, just believe in yourself. There is no better support in your life than your own self confidence. So for every woman here, I would suggest three things you must, without compromising, you must do it. One, get clarity in your mind first whether you really want to get into entrepreneurship. If you really want to get into entrepreneurship and you are clear with your first thing, which is the clarity part, then you have to start building your second C, which is your confidence. So confidence you have to get inside you, and nobody else will be able to give you confidence, but you have to spend time with yourself, do gratitude, do meditation, spend time with yourself, and your inner voice will only tell you what exactly you want in your life. And if you have got your confidence, then you have to work on the third C, which is courage to break through. Do not listen to anybody in this world. There are so many people who are there to tell you X, Y, Z, but not many people have really walked the path you are wanting to walk. Not many people are ready to sacrifice and live a life that you want to have. Not many people have the courage to dream so big, which you are able to dream. So if I have to just summarize everything to the women entrepreneurs or aspiring women entrepreneurs, I will only say that you have the power to build your empire. So don't ever think small. Think big and turn your idea into a business empire. You have the potential and you can do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like there is a huge potential when it comes to women, and it's time to come forward and like unleash their real potential. And I remind of like in my upcoming book, which I have mentioned, like if you have the ability to dream big, that means you also have the ability to achieve that particular dream.
True.
And
So true.
that is what it is, because you already have dreamt big. Now what? It's just you have to go and achieve it and do whatever it takes. And
True.
also, the other thing is, especially, we listen so much about from others, maybe the society, the community, the colleagues, or maybe any other member, and end of the life, or maybe end of their deathbed, we realize that we have lived somebody else's life, but we forgot, like, we forgot to live our own ones, because we just listen to everybody else but not our own self. And that inner voice, like, that starts getting diminishing within, and that's the biggest regret. And that regret, I think so, that weighs tons, and that is not the right place. And this is how, like, even I started my journey, because I wanted, in my family there is no one who is doing business. Everybody, like, wants to get paid very well and those kind of a thing. But I wanted to lead as an example that no, in our family also we can be like, we can, as an entrepreneur, yes, you can, if you want to do it. So, and you also shared the same story, like, for you also, you want to make sure that no, it's something within that you can achieve that particular thing. The last, we come, like, towards the end, but I have one more things to ask, especially to the people. Like, when you see there are people who have started their business, okay, they're not scaling much, because they have this attitude, they think that I know it all and I should not invest in myself. What would you suggest, and as your own example, like what you have done, so that to come out of this particular situation, what would you like to suggest for these kind of people who says that I know it all, I will figure it out, and but still they're not able to figure it out, and they're not able to scale, or or they're not able to get that particular success which they are looking for?
Yeah, Ravi. Ravi, I think this is also a big roadblock for a lot of entrepreneurs. And my only suggestion for them would be, we are able to grow the business to the extent we become a good student. So, entrepreneurship itself demands every entrepreneur to learn something from somebody who has already crossed it. So, I firmly believe to have a mentor in my life, because I have seen my entrepreneurship journey without a mentor, and I'm also seeing it when I have a mentor. Though I have expense, though it comes at a cost, definitely it comes at a cost, but then you save on the path. You don't have to explore the path. Somebody has already walked the path, and you just learn from the path and go with them. You save on a lot of years time, and time is money for business. You save on, you get a lot of hacks from your mentors to fast track your journey in the business. So I consider every business to go through 3 levels: start, stabilize, and scale. If you are starting and you get a mentorship from people who have already started or already run a business, you actually save those years of finding your exploration of how to start a business. If you are already into a business and you want to stabilize your business, and you get to learn from people who have already stabilized their business, they have already crossed 4 5 years of their business, then you understand the loopholes which they have gone through, the problems which they have faced, and you don't have to face the same problem. Hear from them, be smart, hear from them and learn. And also, if you are into the scale up phase, there are so many different learnings which come in the scale up phase as well. So my only advice to people who are into entrepreneurship and you feel that you know it all, remember one thing, that in entrepreneurship, nobody knows it all. Everybody knows some section of it, and try to learn from at least a single mentor or some community, some peerhood, and you see how you are getting fast tracked in your business, and you will be able to establish the momentum of your business very, very good.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sanghamitra. Now, how would someone, if someone wants to connect with you, like how can they connect with you? Whether do you have some programs, you have a mentorship programs, or how do you, like, help others to in their entrepreneurship journey?
Yes, Ravi, I do have my programs, and I run two major programs right now. Number one is called the Business Takeoff program, which is a coaching, which is primarily a coaching where I help the entrepreneurs, the aspiring entrepreneurs to start their business, or maybe the existing entrepreneurs to stabilize or scale their business. So that's one of my programs. And the second one, which I launch, is a content marketing challenge wherein I help people to increase the visibility, their own business visibility in the market. So people can find me on my link on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Insta, and on YouTube. And I'm available everywhere with the same name, which is Sanghamitra Sabat. And I have a Linktree link as well. So anybody who wants to get connected to me, I mean, you can just type Sanghamitra Sabat and you see me omnipresent everywhere.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Sanghamitra. And before we done with this particular thing, just wanted to ask you, like, who is your idol? Like, who you believe, or who you maybe look as that particular person who always inspires you, motivates you? Who is that one person?
That person is from my family, Ravi, and he's my uncle, my own uncle, who stays in Bombay. But I've seen him, how he has managed so many different roles in his life. A good parent, a very good banker, a very famous dubbing artist in the Orissa Hollywood industry, a very good side actor in the Bollywood industry, and somebody who manages the family and takes care of everybody. So I think my uncle is my biggest inspiration, and I really want to at least become 10% of what he is.
No. So nice. And before we end it, what would that one advice you would like to give it to the aspiring entrepreneurs? Maybe that is a mistake they should not do, or maybe any advice from your experience. What would that be?
To the aspiring entrepreneurs, I must say that don't think small, think big, because the world is waiting for you to come and create a product and a service and help so many other people who are suffering from the problem which you want to resolve. So I want to really tell to all the entrepreneurs that entrepreneurship is a game. Just come on board, learn the rules of the game and play it. Do not worry about losing or winning. End of the day, when you play a game, you actually learn how to lead your life. And that's what is more important in entrepreneurship. So just come and play the game.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sanghamitra. And it was just a wonderful talking with you and sharing a lot of your own experiences and all the things, so that, like, as an aspiring entrepreneurs, they should go all these kind of steps before even they think about entrepreneurship, or maybe they getting into this particular journey. So thank you so much, Sanghamitra. And it was just mind blowing, especially the empire, your framework, and then the time management tips and everything. So thank you so much for your time, Sanghamitra, for coming into this show.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you. I'm so privileged to be here. I'm just looking forward to at least the people learning at least some nuggets from here and turning their ideas into big empires. I'll be glad to see a lot of entrepreneurs creating their own empires. Thank you, Ravi, to have invited me to your show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sanghamitra. So if you're not following Sanghamitra, okay, go ahead and follow Sanghamitra, okay? And the link is in the description, okay? Follow her everywhere, like on all social media platform. Her link tree is available, okay? And this is what it is like. If you have to start the journey of entrepreneur, you have to go a roller coaster ride, okay? And it is, and just there is a roller coaster ride, that doesn't mean you should not start this particular journey. It is, sometimes it is fun, sometimes it is a sad, but end of the day, it is all worth it, okay? So thank you so much, everybody. So keep on watching the Ravi Nadar Show, okay? And after this, if you want, you can watch more Ravi Nadar Show's episode, okay? You can go ahead and check on my YouTube playlist. And till that time, take care. God bless you. Bye-bye.